This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
All right, I'm going to try not to let it bother me. The Super Bowl is set, and it's the worst Super Bowl matchup ever. We got two teams that nobody wants to win. We got Stalin versus Hitler, Iraq versus Iran, Yankees, Dodgers. This matchup sucks, and it's just too bad. I was rooting hard for the Commanders, who didn't really show up, and the Bills, who did. And it all went KC's way, as usual. Chiefs back in the Super Bowl, and I'm not happy, but I'm not going to let it bother me. It was a great weekend. It didn't end well, but what a spectacular weekend for America. Yes, it's all going down. It's all happening. It began Friday with Trump in Los Angeles, dressing down Karen Bass and scolding the local officials who don't want to let people rebuild. Then it was on to Las Vegas, where Trump hung out around the craps table and watched people roll the dice. And then he was back in Florida, and he was on the golf course, where he conducted foreign policy. I think it was between the fourth and the fifth hole. Maybe his playing partners were a little slow, so he sat back in his cart, got the phone out, and went hard after Colombia, who initially refused to take back the illegal aliens that we put on a plane and shipped to Colombia. That took about an hour. We have a president who does more while golfing than the last guy did while allegedly in the White House, supposedly running the country. It's all wonderful. It's all beautiful. We are just riding this wave, this pro-America glorious wave. Pete Hegseth was confirmed late Friday night, despite three rhinos, Mitch McConnell, Susan Collins, and Lisa Murkowski, voting with the Democrats, voting with their masters in the Democrat Party and the mainstream media. It was a 50-50 tie, and J.D. Vance cast the tie-breaking vote, and Pete Hegseth is in office, and he's ready to shake it up. Yes, the great disruptor is filling all these posts, filling his cabinet with fellow disruptors, and the deep state, the establishment is not happy. The media is not happy. Tom Homan is sending his guys around the country to round up murderers and drug dealers and child molesters, and the media doesn't like it because people are scared. They're concerned. They're going to round up abuelas. Who's going to clean Sonny Hostin's toilets now? Who's going to pick our crops? You know what? I say it all the time, but this Trump is better than the last Trump. This Trump is exactly what we need. This Trump is fearless. This Trump is unshackled, and he's doing what he promised to do, and it's all great for this country. Pete Hegseth this morning spoke to the media briefly, and you got to listen closely because it was a terrific statement. He appeared with CQ Brown, the who we're hoping gets fired soon. CQ Brown is a big DEI guy, big DEI guy. He's the one who was weeping over George Floyd. He's still there by Hegseth's side, hopefully not for long. But check out Pete Hegseth. Listen closely to Pete Hegseth's comments this morning, his first comments as our Secretary of Defense. Go ahead.
And as the Secretary of Defense, it's an honor to salute smartly, as I did as a junior officer and now as the Secretary of Defense, to ensure these orders are complied with rapidly and quickly. Every moment that I'm here, I'm thinking about the guys and gals in Guam, in Germany, in Fort Benning and Fort Bragg, on missile defense sites and aircraft carriers. Our job is lethality and readiness and warfighting. We're going to hold people accountable. I know the chairman agrees with that. The lawful orders of the President of the United States will be executed inside this Defense Department swiftly and without excuse. We will be no better friend to our allies and no stronger adversary to those who want to test us and try us. So, Mr. Chairman, thanks for welcoming me today. I look forward to serving the troops, the warriors of this department. It's the honor of a lifetime, and we're going to get to work. God bless you all.
I don't like the deference to CQ Brown, but did you check out who he said he was serving? The folks at Fort Bragg and Fort Benning. Those are two names that were stripped because they were not politically correct. Where those aren't the names anymore. It's Fort Liberty and not Fort Bragg. Well, they're going to be Fort Benning and Fort Bragg again, and that is just the beginning. Today, here's what Donald Trump's going to do. You know, there's never going to be a day, not a weekend, not a holiday. There's never going to be a day where Trump isn't working to fulfill the promises he made. Today, the president will reinstate soldiers and Marines who were kicked out of the military for refusing the experimental vax. 8,000 soldiers and Marines will be reinstated with back pay. That is a great thing. Today, he will kick out thousands of trans soldiers. Yes, no more social experiments in the military. No more trans soldiers, certainly no more paying for their trans treatment on the taxpayer's dime. And he will eliminate all DEI from the U.S. military. That is a beautiful thing. This is the most important thing he's doing, ending DEI, a racist, illegal, unconstitutional practice. He's doing it in the federal government, and they're doing it in the private sector. He's provided cover for CEOs and companies that don't want to continue to hire and promote based on race and ethnicity. Those days are over. No more. Today, it's all going down. No more DEI in the military. No more kicking people out for not taking the Fauci shot, and no more men pretending to be women in the U.S. military. That is good news for all the soldiers and Marines and service people. They no longer have to take orders from the likes of Rachel Levine, and the media will go kicking and screaming today. Get ready. There's nothing better than watching the media attempt to stake out a position because Trump, and they have to stop Trump, fight Trump every step of the way. Normal people, taxpayers, citizens are thrilled to see ICE agents spread out across these blue cities and round up killers, gang members. Just a reminder, there are 1.6 million illegal aliens who've already been ordered deported. So he's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of people to find and kick out, and he's off to a great start. Here are the numbers from yesterday, Sunday. No rest for these guys. They're working 7 days a week. 956 arrests, 554 detainers lodged against illegal aliens in Dallas, Chicago, Boston. They rounded up. They got another convicted murderer in Boston over the weekend. They got a child molester from Thailand in Chicago, and Holman was there at the scene of the crime when they arrested this guy. The media would like you to think that they're just going to grab anyone undocumented. Let's see your papers and kick them out. We may get to that point where they just grab people who are here illegally. Tom Homan has made it clear. Tom Homan is saying and doing all the right things. He's off to a great start, but man, does he have a lot of work to do when you think about it. We have, what was the number, 16,000 murderers that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris led into the country, something like 25,000 convicted rapists. They've gotten a few thousand so far and put them on planes. And this could have been the highlight of the weekend. They put them on a plane, sent them back to Colombia. The Colombian president said, no, we're not accepting them. The socialist president of Colombia. And immediately, Donald Trump announces on True Social and on Twitter, here he is, while golfing. I'm not even sure how you do this, but he did it while on the golf course in in Palm Beach. He said, emergency 25% tariffs on all goods coming into the U.S. In 1 week, the 25% tariffs will be raised to 50%, a travel ban and immediate visa revocations on Colombian government officials, visa sanctions on all party members, family members, and supporters of the Colombian government, enhanced customs and border protection inspection of all Colombian nationals and cargo. And then he points out there'll be banking and financial sanctions fully imposed. This prompted the president of Colombia to flip, to say he will not only welcome flights from the U.S., but he will provide his personal presidential plane. Gustavo Petro said, sorry, I didn't really mean it. In 1 hour, he got him to change his plans, his stance, and accept the illegal aliens from the U.S. to Colombia. This is how it's done. Once again, you'll listen to the media, the Democrats talk about tariffs. Oh no, that's a tax on Americans. We're going to pay more. Here's AOC as sometime between the hour that it took Colombia to change its position. She tweets, to punish Colombia, Trump's about to make every American pay more for coffee. Remember, we pay the tariffs, not Colombia. Trump is about making inflation worse for working class Americans and lining pockets for himself and the billionaire class. This fool, this absolute bird brain, tweets this out. First of all, even if Colombia hadn't flipped, she's talking about the price of coffee. So the price of coffee would go up if Colombia didn't acquiesce. As if that's not an acceptable trade-off. We get rid of murderers and drug dealers, and they raise the price of coffee. Oh, no, not that. So she would rather see the next Laken Riley, the next Rachel Marin, the next Jocelyn Nungary, the next 100,000 people die of fentanyl poisoning than see the price of coffee go up. That wasn't the most ridiculous response. Anna Navarro pointed out that the price of flowers is going to go up before Valentine's Day. That's the response to people to gang murderers and gang members, drug dealers being arrested and shipped the hell out, as if the American people are going to go, oh no, you mean roses might cost more if we get rid of murderers and fentanyl dealers? Not that. They've got nothing. It is just remarkable to watch, to hear. CNN has a report this morning, I just tweeted it out, that the ICE agents have been ordered to wear their uniforms to make sure they're recognizable when they go on these raids. And they say it's a stunt for TV. They want this to be shown on TV. So what if they do? That's what they're left with. They're left with criticizing Holman and ICE agents for wearing their uniforms. They're left with the price of coffee and flowers. That's the price we have to, if that's the price we have to pay to get rid of the next Jose Ibarra, the scumbag who murdered Laken Riley, I'm pretty sure the American people are okay with the trade-off. And there is just no backing down. They're so used to squishy Republicans. They're so used to people who are afraid of being criticized on Meet the Press or in the New York Times. Those days are over. Tom Homan went on with Martha Raddatz, I believe. Now, I want to set this up because we have J.D. Vance, who's just the best at this, going into the lion's den, the enemy territory, and just schooling these fools. But Homan is so good because he doesn't apologize for anything. He has a job to do, and he's going to do it. And he doesn't care what Martha Raddatz says about him. He doesn't care. He genuinely doesn't care what the New York Times and the Boston Globe is going to say about him. He has a job, and he's going to do it. And what they want to do is pin him down and say, once you get all the murderers, Tom, are you really going to go after our maids, my landscaper? Are you really going to go after, illegal aliens? Is that really going to happen? You're going to round those poor folks up? And Holman just looks them right in the eye and says, yes, that is what we're going to do. I love this man. Can I just be honest? I have a man crush. I adore this man. Here he is yesterday with Martha Raddatz.
I want to go back to those military flights going south. As you said, we have never seen that before. Is that going to be a constant commitment from the U.S. military every single day to take deportees out?
Yes.
So is this what we will see every single day?
He just answered you.
The president has promised is millions and millions being deported.
Yes. But you're going to see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now, it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. So we're going to do this on priority base, as President Trump's promised. But as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.
When you talk about the aperture opening, the estimates of perhaps those who have been convicted or arrested in the past, 700,000 to over 1 million. So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8, United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. And that's why I'm hoping those who are in the country illegally who have not been ordered removed by the federal judge should leave.
Yes, that is how it's done. And that they're going to do this every day. You're really going to round up all the illegal aliens? Yes, that's what he promised to do. That's what Americans voted for. And they can't stand it. They can't stand the idea of a president doing what he said he would do. They thought they would be able to influence them, get them to back down, say, oh, no, don't worry, Martha, we're not going to get rid of your maid. We just want killers and drug dealers. No, they're starting with the killers and the drug dealers. And the argument that there's somehow, this is a bridge too far is so insane when you think about it. We have people in this country, allowed in the country the last 4 years. We know that now. Murderers, drug dealers. And the Biden administration just let them go. Blue state governors, blue state mayors just looked the other way. They could have rounded up these people. They could have done this job, which the American people desperately want done, and they didn't do it. This is an indictment on Democrats, on Biden, on every Democrat. These are people that voted against removing violent criminals, literally voted against it. Illegal aliens who commit violent crimes, sex-related crimes, they voted against it, and they just don't matter. They don't matter. Martha Raddatz, you don't matter. AOC, Liz Warren, you can kick, you can scream, you will, but you don't matter anymore. You're irrelevant. There is a new sheriff, there's a whole bunch of new sheriffs in town. They'll be wearing their uniforms, their vests, their ice right across their chests, and they were coming for people who are here illegally, and there's nothing you can do about it. Holman was great, as always. I got to say one thing. I thought once Trump was elected that he and his people should just tell Martha Raddatz and Margaret Brennan and Steffi and to just go screw. Just no, don't even sit down with them. Don't even talk to them. I was wrong. This is what they should do. This is what J.D. Vance and Tom Holman are so good at. I like the idea that they're going to continue to sit down with these hacks and put them in their place. We will get to J.D. Vance. He is just the great. Trump has made a lot of great moves in his campaign, and since he's been president for a week, he's been president for 1 week, and he is just getting it done. The best move, without a doubt, was choosing J.D. Vance. It is hilarious to think how the media reacted, calling him weird. They actually wrote and talked about how Trump regrets picking J.D. Vance. Please, this was a spectacular choice. The best thing he did was choosing J.D. Vance as his running mate. We will get to J.D. sitting down with Margaret Brennan, and oh man, was it great. And we will get to the Super Bowl, this terrible Super Bowl, this NFL has a problem. I'm just going to say it. I've never been one of these conspiracy say, oh, it's all scripted, it's all rigged. Well, there's a lot of people today who are saying maybe it is rigged. Maybe they really wanted Patrick Mahomes back in the Super Bowl. Yesterday was an outrage. What we saw in Kansas City was a scandal. We'll go over it. It's I can't believe I'm saying it, but this they handed this game to the Chiefs. Let's be honest. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
Ring in the new year with new rewards at Golden Nugget Online Casino. Right now, new players can play just $5 and get 250 casino spins on a featured game with promo code Newsmax. That's 250 chances to win on us after you play just $5 or more. Don't wait. The best rewards and the brightest moments are waiting at Golden Nugget Online Casino. Whether you're spinning slots, doubling down on blackjack, playing roulette, or any of our exclusive games you can't find anywhere else, make any moment golden with Golden Nugget Online Casino this year.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please play responsibly. 21 and over. Physically present in Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins valid for Jinshi, Baoshi, Endless Treasures only and expire in 168 hours. See terms at goldennuggetcasino.com/promos. Ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on February 23rd, 2025.
Well, they're doing it, man. They're doing it. They're all in on protecting illegal aliens. That's the job of the mainstream media. Let's fight them every step of the way. Let's try to slow down this operation, which Americans overwhelmingly support. J.D. Vance goes on Face the Nation to talk about a lot of things with Margaret Brennan. This is a few months after Margaret Brennan, I believe it was Margaret Brennan, tried to rig the debate, tried to stop Vance. He was having none of it then, and he's having none of it now. He should do this every week. I changed my mind. He should go on all the Sunday shows because he's so good at it, and he exposes they just can't stand him. They can't stand Trump. They know that they got to do their best to try to hold their own in a debate with Vance, in an argument with Vance. They just can't do it. He's too smart for them. He's too straight with them. And that drives them nuts. Here is Margaret Brennan attempting to claim that the illegal immigrants have been vetted. I love this, vetted. Can someone explain to me how you vet someone from Afghanistan or someone from Venezuela or Somalia? I believe Somalia doesn't even have a government. It's a lawless place. You think somebody at HHS just gets on the phone and calls Somalia and said, hey, we got a guy here, he wants to, live in America. Could you just check his record? It's not a little league coach. You don't just run a RICO thing and say, a Corey background check. Say, oh, he's good. Let me call the Taliban. Hey, we got a guy here, Abdul. Can you just make sure, he's not a bad guy, that he's not a terrorist, that he doesn't want to kill us all? It's absurd. But they're going with it. Oh, yeah, they're vetted. And then Vance points out, you mean the guy that was planning a terrorist attack for Election Day, that guy in Oklahoma, he was vetted, Margaret? Oh, well, that's a special case, she says. Watch and enjoy. Go ahead.
Talked to us in August, you said, I don't think we should abandon anybody who's been properly vetted and helped us. Do you stand by that?
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals
but there are
have been properly
30,000
vetted.
people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary concern as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that we know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people are vetted.
Good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted. And many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted. And because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country. And I think most Americans agree with me.
We'll be back in 1 minute. More of our interview with Vice President Vance.
Oh, man. Yeah, just keep going. Just keep going, Margaret. You're doing great. You're doing great. That was a particular case. We don't know when he was radicalized. He was planning to blow up, I believe, a polling place and kill Americans. And she's got his back. The mainstream media, they got your back if you're here illegally, if you're planning to kill Americans. Oh, God. He's so good. He's so good at this. He's such a good choice. He's going to be a great candidate in 2028. And I'm not sure what they're going to do when they run out of January 6ers, you know, those violent insurrectionists who were just pardoned. I want to go over this one more time because it drives me nuts. The January 6ers who were pardoned, who assaulted cops, who were violent, who broke things, just did 3.5, 4 years in prison in deplorable conditions. They paid a price. You could say they should have stayed in prison. Fine. They went to trial. They didn't get a fair trial. We know that. But they went to prison. They were convicted. That's who Trump pardoned. That's who he said he was going to pardon, and he did. And they just can't let it go. Check out these numbers. This is from Newsbusters. CBS, NBC, and ABC spent 46 minutes on Trump pardons, 3 minutes on Biden pardons. Again, Trump pardons, went to prison, paid a price. You want to hear about Biden pardons again? I know we've gone over a lot of them. He pardoned a guy, commuted the sentence of a guy who killed 2 FBI agents in cold blood. Have you seen that on Face the Nation? Probably not. Check this one out. A man convicted in the killing of an 8-year-old boy and his mother in Bridgeport, Connecticut, has been granted clemency by former President Joe Biden, drawing criticism across party lines. And Adrian Peeler, is now 48, was set to be released in 2033. Among the 8,000 pardons and commutations from Joe Biden was this man who committed murder of a woman named Karen Clark and her 8-year-old son, BJ Brown. They were shot and killed in their Bridgeport home. He murdered them because they were witnesses and were going to testify against him. Murdered an 8-year-old boy. Last week, a dementia-addled Joe Biden commuted his sentence. He will now go free, I believe, in July. A man who murdered an 8-year-old boy. Did you hear about that, Margaret Brennan, Martha Raddatz? New York Times, they are so fixated on January 6ers, again, who went to prison, who served time, who didn't kill anybody. They keep lying about it. But I didn't hear much about Adrian Peeler or that guy Peltier, who murdered 2 FBI agents. They don't care about that. But Trump, January 6th, they're never going to let it go. Once again, I'm glad he did the blanket pardon. I'm glad they all go free because they paid a price. They were over-sentenced, overcharged, over-punished. Everyone knows it. If you follow their stories, January 6ers stories, it's amazing. One guy I read over the weekend, one January 6er who was just pardoned, had his home raided 7 times by the FBI. They took his phones, his computers. They took everything. He spent his life savings on lawyers. The stories are just heartbreaking, and they're all free to go now, and that is a good thing. So is Adrian Peeler, who murdered an 8-year-old boy. By the way, Democrats were upset about this. Da Nang Dick Blumenthal was outraged. You know why? Because they don't think Joe Biden knew what he was doing. They think someone just put a piece of paper in front of him and he signed it. That is a scandal. A president, if he knew what he was doing, that's pretty bad. What if he didn't? What if one of the left-wing radicals on his staff just said, "Here, Joe, here's another one, Joe. Here you go." And he just scribbled his name and this guy goes free. That's a pretty big deal. I would think the media would have some interest in that, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. We will see. This is going to be a wild week. RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, and Kash Patel all go before the Senate. You think the Pete Hegseth hearings were tense, were explosive? Just wait for these three. It's going to be wild. I'm most looking forward to RFK. This is such a crazy time when you think about it. RFK, lifelong Democrat, a Kennedy, a guy who believes in third-term abortion, who once compared Iowa pig farmers to Al-Qaeda, who is a climate change nut, is now a Republican. Well, he's not a Republican. He's still a Democrat, by the way, or an independent. He's going to go before the Senate and be grilled by Democrats about his views on vaccines, of course, but it's going, and he's really smart and he's really well prepared and he's a lawyer who's used to debating and arguing. It's going to be good. Can't wait. This is going to be a crazy week in DC, and Trump's just going to keep doing things that drive the Democrats insane. And while he's playing golf, while he is on the golf course, he's going to be conducting foreign policy. All right, we'll get to more of that and this awful Super Bowl. What a bummer. We were wrong. Ironhead and I both went with the Commanders and the Bills. I was picking with my heart. The Commanders were absolutely awful. And the Bills fought hard and got screwed. Absolutely robbed. We'll go over that and more. But first.
Excuse me.
So how are the New Year's resolutions coming? We all make them, some of us stick with them. Some of us don't. You want to lose weight, get in shape, get your finances in order. I promise to read more books. I'm trying. Each new year is an opportunity to reflect and plan for the future, like setting career goals, making financial moves, and most importantly, ensuring your family is always taken care of no matter what happens. Make this the year you check the life insurance box off your list and protect your family's future with Policy Genius. Policy Genius makes finding and buying life insurance simple, so you can ensure your loved ones have a financial safety net to cover debts and routine expenses, or even to invest the money to earn interest over time. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid unnecessary medical exams. Do you know 40% of people wish they got life insurance at a younger age? Compare quotes from America's top insurers side by side for free with no hidden fees. The licensed support team helps you get what you need fast so you can get on with your life. They answer questions, handle paperwork, and advocate for you throughout the process. Life insurance is a form of financial planning. Secure your family's future tomorrow so you have peace of mind today. Head to policygenius.com to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. Before we get to the NFL and that scandalous game in Kansas City yesterday, I honestly don't know who I can root. I'm not rooting. Obviously I'll watch the Super Bowl and Brady will be doing the game. Brady is a little shaky, I have to admit. He's going to get better because I know he works hard. He's smart. He knows what he's doing, but you got to be able to criticize the refs. You got to be able to criticize the players. I mean, at the end of that game, he was talking about how Washington should be so proud. What? They just gave up 55 points. I'd rather the analysts tell us why they were so bad in the NFC title game than talk about what a wonderful year they had. Yeah, obviously they had a rookie. They won 4 games last year. It was a nice bounce back season, but that game was a disgrace. They couldn't stop Philly. They were just overmatched. I'd rather have the analyst criticize the team that just gave up 55 points. Before I get to that, though, I want to do one more Tom Holman cut because this was Friday. I believe this was Friday night. And again, it's just so refreshing. Obviously, we have a real border now. Donald Trump has sent troops to the border. We're not letting people just walk into our country unvetted. That was an insane policy for 4 years. We'll look back on it and wonder how we had a president who was hell-bent on destroying the country, who was determined to import the worst people in the world into our country. That's what our president did. And now we have a guy who has top job is fixing what the last administration did. Anyway, the Pope chimed in and called it disgraceful, what we're doing at the border. Disgraceful. To keep murderers and drug dealers out, protect citizens, stop fentanyl. Everybody knows that the Pope has a massive wall around the Vatican. They have real hardline rules against illegal immigrants in the Vatican. But here's the problem. The Catholic Church has done as much as anyone to facilitate the invasion at the border. They have NGOs, the biggest NGOs, and they get billions in taxpayer dollars. You ever wonder when you see the people on the Darien Pass and they clean clothes, it's not like they're sleeping in the bushes. They're not dragging themselves up the trails. They look pretty good. That's because these NGOs are paying. They're busing them. They're putting them up in hotels just to help them get here and enter our country illegally. That's going to end. Hopefully, any minute now, Trump will stop giving taxpayer money to these corrupt NGOs, including Catholic charities. But here's another great thing is I think past Republican presidents and, of course, Democrats would bow down to this, would say, oh, no, the Catholic Church, we better walk softly here. Not this guy, not Trump. He doesn't care what the Pope has to say about our policy, our immigration policy here in the United States. It is kind of disgusting when you think about the Pope endorsing a policy that hurts Americans, that kills Americans. Laken Riley, I was probably Catholic. Riley sounds Catholic. Pope doesn't care about Laken Riley. Catholic Charities doesn't care about Laken Riley. But here's Rob Schmidt on Newsmax with Tom Homan calling out the Pope. I love this. Go ahead.
I want to ask one final question. The Pope this week said that it's a disgrace what we're now doing with this new government, deporting all of these people. We've got, obviously there's going to be a lot of media searching for the sad stories here, trying to turn public opinion against this operation. What's your message to the American people as you guys do this work?
Well, let me give a message to the Pope guy. I'm a lifelong Catholic. I was born Catholic. I've been through Catholic doctrine. Look, he only concentrates on fixing the Catholic Church, first of all. He's got big problems there. In the Vatican, they have a wall around the Vatican. If you illegally enter the Vatican, the crime is serious. You'll be charged with a serious crime, be jailed.
Yeah.
So he can protect the Vatican where he lives. He can build a wall where he lives. Where American people are not allowed that? No. Securing the border saves lives. He needs to understand that. When we secure the border, when less people come, less women get raped by the cartel, less children die in the river, less Americans die from fentanyl overdoses. He ought to stick to it. He ought to stick to the Catholic Church and fix that. That's a mess.
That is just perfect right there. Kids are dying. Kids are dying in the river. People are ODing. And it's a disgrace, according to the Pope, that we won't allow this to continue. No, it's a disgrace that the Catholic Church supports this. He's right. Women being raped, people ODing, hundreds of thousands of people, drugs, crime, guns, gang members, and we're stopping it. And the Pope's upset. Catholic Charities is not happy. They can't continue to cash in on this invasion. Good for Tom Homan. Keep it up. Keep it up, Mr. Whatever you are. Mr. Borders are. Keep going. And he goes right from there, puts on the uniform, the ICE uniform, right into the raids in Chicago. This guy is just the best. All right. Let's get to the NFL, Ironhead, because this hurts, man. I had a great weekend. I just sat back and enjoyed all the wonderful things happening in this country. It is just, things are great. You wake up Monday morning, and you remember Donald Trump as president, and we got our country back. And then you see Kansas City against Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. I don't want either team to win. I can't stand. Nobody roots for Philadelphia. We know what their fans are like. They're the worst. And Kansas City, I mean, if it were fair and square, I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. I want to just say, yeah, they won it fair and square. They did not. You were looking at a catch right there, a catch. This is according to the NFL, not just the officials on the field. The replay official looked at this, and generally, when I see these replays, you know right away. You say, oh, clearly not a catch. They go to the replay, and they come back, whatever it is, 2 minutes later, and say the call was confirmed. It's a good catch. He's on the 3-yard line, I believe. Isaiah Likely. How is that a catch? How is that a reception? By what measure, by what rule is that a good catch? Again, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be one of these crazy conspiracies. Say it's all rigged, it's all fixed. How else do you explain this? Could someone give me a theory on what they're looking at? His left arm is on the ground, or about to be on the ground, nowhere near the ball. The ball is in the possession of the DB, if anything. But when they play it out, the ball hits the ground. You could see it. The nose of the ball hits the ground, and the receiver does not have control by any definition. And they call this a catch. They got a problem. The NFL does. They have a problem. And it's not that no one's going to prove that the NFL is rigged. They're not going to prove that an email went out to the officials and said, we need Taylor Swift to the Super Bowl. It's not going to work like that. But you know what people are going to talk about for the next 2 weeks? They're going to talk about this and how this is possible, how that could be interpreted as a catch. And why does it always seem to happen for the Kansas City Chiefs? Adam Schefter tweeted out that in the playoffs, the Chiefs' opponents have been called for 6 roughing the passer penalties, the Chiefs 0. Now you could break them down individually. We saw the one last week that was just ridiculous. But they get the calls. And everyone, you know, all the people who aren't here in New England say, yeah, the Patriots always get the calls. Yes, they did. Patriots, Brady got a lot of calls. But I'm starting to think Patrick Mahomes gets even more calls. That's one example. The QB sneak when Josh Allen, it's a fourth quarter, 4th and a yard, and Josh Allen sneaks. And to me, you could see the angle from the side. Looked like he clearly made it. And an official steps in and changes the spot and gives the ball to Kansas City. Again, I don't really want to do this, but I think we have to. Portnoy, Dave Portnoy, El Presidente, breaks it down quickly. He's got this play. This is Josh Allen's sneak. Watch as one official has it for a first down. The other official steps in and says, nope, not so fast. They change the spot. They give the ball to Kansas City. Watch this.
The biggest hose job I've ever fucking seen. First of all, this 3rd and 3 play, this spot is disgusting. Knees not down. That's a first down. So that spot off. That's a bad spot right there by I don't know, half a yard right there. And then we're going to go for it on 4th down, which we all know what happens. But the fact that these refs, who decides where, first of all, this is clearly a first down. It's like not even fucking close. And then what is this? That one ref is way past it. Another one's a foot off. You just randomly decide where you're throwing the football. Like, what if the other guy got the spot? This is the most disgusting thing. I'm not watching football ever again. I quit football. First of all, he only has to get to the line. Are you kidding me? I quit football.
Why can't they look at that and say, yes, he made the line and he's right? The top official comes in. He's got a first down. The other official comes in and says, no, he doesn't. You see that again. You could see the line. You could see the ball. You could see Allen. That's a first down. That's 4th down. Good luck, NFL, for the next 2 weeks. Everyone's going to be looking at this over and over again. And I don't know what the explanation is. That somehow the lower official coming in from the bottom of your screen, he gets to overrule the other guy and they can't go to the replay and see what we just saw? How is that not a first down? And he's right, the play before that. Now, I'm not letting the Bills off the hook because Allen on their last gas play makes an amazing play. They blitzed him. They got him out of the pocket. He launches essentially a Hail Mary and hits Dalton Kincaid in the hands, and he dropped it. It was another Mark Andrews moment when a Bills receiver, tight end, had a chance to make the catch. I think he was even in field goal range at that point, and their field goal kicker was really good. So they blew it. It wasn't just the refs. It wasn't just the replay. They blew it. And you know what? Mahomes is great, but so is Josh Allen. Mahomes had a great game. He's been spectacular. But he has one big advantage, two big advantages. One, he plays at home, usually, including this game, which made a big difference. And he's got Andy Reid. Watch Mahomes. Almost all of his throws were to wide open receivers. Reid is such a superior play caller to whoever he's going against, that he just gets guys open. Every run Mahomes had, no one touched him for 10, 15, 20 yards. Every yard Josh Allen got was a struggle. If you put Josh Allen with Andy Reid, it's a whole different story. He's just so much better at drawing up plays and coordinating the offense than the other guys. Andy Reid is just the all-time best offensive coach, and he has a chance to go for the three-peat, 3 in a row, which has never been done. What's the opening line on this one, Ironhead? I know you've already checked it out, but this is going to be interesting because generally, most people in the country are rooting one way or the other. Generally, people root against Philadelphia. But how do you root for Kansas City? How do you root for Taylor Swift? That's a tough one. I know what I'm doing. I've decided. I'm rooting for Harrison Buckner.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for.
And the opening line is Eagles getting 1.5.
Eagles plus 1.5. I'm making my pick right now. I'm picking Philadelphia. They can run the ball, obviously. Saquon Barkley is in a zone. I'm going to go with, and you got 2 weeks to prepare and heal up. I know Jalen Hurts is hurting, but he's got 2 weeks to prepare, and I think they're going to be tough to stop. But I can make this prediction also. Kansas City's going to get the calls. It's pretty clear. Kansas City is going to get the calls. Every show, every sports talk show and every ESPN show is going to be going over this. And by game time, everyone's going to be convinced that the NFL wants Kansas City to do this. They want the Chiefs. They want Mahomes. They want Taylor Swift to win again. And that's a problem for the NFL. Is it scripted? No, it is not scripted. But they get the calls, and I don't know how you can deny that at this point. How can you defend it and say, that Isaiah Likely was a catch? How do you make that case today that, yeah, I saw the replay, he caught it? I haven't heard one person who can watch that replay and say, yeah, he caught it. Not possible. Not possible. But anyway, it's a bummer. I think Eagles would have been a great matchup, and we know who most of America would be rooting for. Hell, the Commanders, Chiefs would have been good, except they sucked. And Tom Brady will be doing the game. A lot of focus on Brady. He's going to be good. I think give him a year, 2 years. He's going to loosen up. He's going to be more critical. But I think he's still a little nervous, and I think he's smart as hell. He knows what he's watching. He knows the plays, but he doesn't sound conversational. He doesn't sound like he's just letting it go. That's the problem with Brady. He doesn't criticize officials, which he should do, or players very much, or coaches. We need more of that, Tom. Let it loose. Hell, I used to have Brady speak to Brady every Monday, and he was great. He used to swear. He used to laugh. I think if Tom Brady loosens up, he will be really good, like Romo or like Aikman. But right now, he's still learning, and we'll see how he does at the Super Bowl. He said he was very excited to see Kendrick Lamar. Really? It'll be. I'll watch, but I don't care who wins. I really don't. But that will do it for today. This Monday. This is Donald Trump's first full Monday, and stuff is going to happen. I'm watching right now, rounding up criminals, murderers, as we speak. They're going to keep going, as Holman said, every day. Yes, and then they're going to ramp up the operation, and they're going to get millions of illegals out of this country. And it's just, I don't think Martha Raddatz and Margaret Brennan are going to handle it well. And no more DEI in the military, no more trans people in the military, and Fort Bragg and Fort Benning are back. That's just one day in the Trump administration. Man, they are not messing around. But that will do it for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you. Thank you
Wow.
all. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many. Thank you.